my artwork, my crafts, it's more of a positivity thing, and just rewiring, and continually thinking about something, does make that happen. It does rewire and your whole outlook on life, you know?
Yes. So were there techniques that you used before learning about the grounding technique to help with your mindset and look and focus on the good?
Basically, my faith comes into it a lot. I do a daily prayer thing when I wake up in the morning. I thank for another day, and I do that routine. And I kind of do special intention type things for all the people in my life that are having struggles or whatever. But this new grounding thing, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but it's just in addition to what I used to do. And it makes me feel more accomplished, to put it into words. It just makes me feel better, like I'm accomplishing more.
And that was exactly the point of it. In week 1, we
Yeah.
talked about the human behavior equation, and behavior equaling motivation plus ability plus prompt, and us breaking our goals down into smaller actions to feel good, to direct us to doing it even more. So that is such great feedback that you are feeling that accomplishment, because that only will continue to grow, and it being something that where it's not just in the morning, it's throughout your day, that you're actually intentionally looking for the good and rewiring your brain, just like you said. That is the purpose, to rewire our brains from that negative default that we fall into from just years and years of those pathways formed literally on our brain and in our brain.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you feel that way.
I kind of wish that I had all this when I was still working, I think it would have been very beneficial to me. But now that I'm retired, and it still helps. But I just really wish, and looking back on my life and my work career, I could see so much where this would, have been a benefit to me.
And tell us what you did for work.
Oh my God. I was an international air freight manager. I did a lot of traveling, a lot of very stressful shipments, import, export. I would get woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning from Susie in Springfield in Singapore saying, "Where's my shipment, Jenny?" That type of stress. But it paid very well, but I really did not enjoy what I was doing. I enjoyed the money, but my job, I dreaded it, because it was like a 24/7, 365 days a year, job. But then I got sick, I got MS, and I ended up retiring early, going on disability. And I felt like I lost my identity. I wasn't Jerry at service by air anymore. But it was the first time I got to be a stay-at-home mom. I got to enjoy going to my daughter's school activities and, getting a chance to do my artwork and, really enjoying my life again.
Wow.
So that was it in a nutshell. But I had a lot of stresses and a lot of reasons where this growth opportunities, the growth ideas that you are presenting would have applied to me and helped way back. I was a bitch at work. I was a perfectionist. I demanded things, and it was just my past,
I
Sorry,
do know.
I keep rambling on here.
No, it's wonderful. I mean, I can absolutely relate. I see my sister nodding. I think that's behind a lot of the negativity that we share with our oh, Jenny gave a thumbs up, with our personalities. If we are, hi Crystal.
Hi, dinner ran late, but I'm here.
Okay. So Jerry was sharing some of her past struggles and how she could see applying a lot of what we talk about in here in her past. And I feel that negativity, that bitchiness, is us wanting to be perfect because of how small we've been made to feel and how insignificant. And so we overcompensate, like showing our presence and showing like we know what we're doing and we know what's demanded of us. So we want people to listen and do what we ask. And that's just like a power struggle in a way. So we're unfortunately, it's just, that's a very common reaction to the pain that we felt, and in a way trying to protect ourselves from feeling that again. But unfortunately it's a loop, because as we talked about, if we don't have that self-compassion to help our struggles and our suffering to heal, we're just going to continue on that perfectionism and bitchiness and not being heard, and it just continues. So, Jerry, I know you share a lot of what we talk about with your daughter. Like, is there, because I know, so we can't go back, right? We can't go back and change our past. We can't go back to who we were. We can obviously only learn what we do know now and move forward. But is there anything that you've shared with your daughter, with your experiences that you're learning now?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's she listens, she watches the Zoom meetings afterwards, and we talk about it. Unfortunately, she's always tied up right now,
Yeah.
especially on Wednesdays. But yeah, we do share what's going on.
Does she know like what you shared with us just now, as far as
She will when she watches.
yeah.
No, but she does. She does notice. She does know. But we're very close. We share a lot. We share everything, just about. She's my main caregiver, and vice versa. For all of you ladies that don't know, my daughter is disabled too. She has MS, as well as I do. And gosh, in 2015, well, before that, she was diagnosed when she was 15 years old. And she woke up blind one day, and it scared the heck out of us. But optic neuritis was her first symptom of MS, and we both have the same disease, but different symptoms, different things that happen to us because no one's the same. But in 2015, she went for a stem cell transplant down at Chicago Northwestern Memorial Hospital. And she went in a wheelchair, walked out. It was a miracle, I swear to God.
Wow.
Yes. It was part of a study, because it was one of these situations where it's not FDA approved as a course of treatment for people in the United States yet. And we belong to support groups. There was a gentleman that went to Russia to have this procedure done. And he did a video, daily video. So we knew it was all involved with it. But I guess my point is that she had improved to the point where we weren't playing wheelchair bumper cars in our apartment anymore. And she is my caregiver. I am her caregiver. And we've grown very, very close. Just sharing, our struggles. But that's about it.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we met.
And me too. Me too. Lori, you have a good daughter there.
Yep, I learned a lot from her.
Yeah.
My love for the earth all came from my mama.
Oh, yeah.
Don't I know it?
Oh,
Well, thank you very much. That I know is not easy to talk about, and I'm just really happy that you find this amazing group safe for you to talk about. And I'm so glad that you get to share all of this with your daughter, because I mean, that's what I hear from all the parents, that they just want a better life for their kids.
Yep. Yep.
It's great.
It's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
How about anybody else? Anybody else want to? I know Crystal and I were talking on the phone yesterday, and she's had some amazing accomplishments. And tomorrow she's taking her very important test called NCLEX for her nursing degree.
Ooh.
So, Crystal, would you like to talk about some accomplishments that you've had and made over the last weeks, months, years?
I actually have an emotional day today because it's actually, I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. It's been so overwhelming from where I've come to where I'm at today. I just know that like my path was different than other people, and I'm not going to compare myself to others. And I'm thankful for my journey of where I'm at. And I know that this is the right time for me to be a nurse and give back to my community. Be able to help others so much, because I know that that's what I'm put on this earth to do. And it's overwhelming feeling when ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a nurse. And I did it and went back to school. I'm 35. I have a 13-year-old I raised. I've been in abusive relationships. I drank too much. I did drugs. I've grown so much. I've seen it all, been around a lot of things that I don't ever want to go back to, but I've grown mentally, emotionally. I eat healthier. I work out. I take care of myself. Everything just aligns, like everything. And it's just like the more you continue to work and put in the work in yourself, more doors open. And it's unbelievable when you actually put work into yourself and you actually learn to love yourself and be able to focus on what's going to bring the most amount of joy to me as a human, and not worry about what's on the outside, and not worry about everything else around you and comparing yourself and feeling stuck. I was in the restaurant industry for 15 years, so I just felt like well, I want more for me. I want more for me. And it's a great career. You make great money serving. And I loved it. I have the personality for it, but I knew I was meant to do more. And tomorrow's the big day. Here it is. So,
Yay, everybody.
Good luck
yay.
tomorrow. Congratulations.
Yay. Thank you. So it's exciting. It's overwhelming. It's a lot of different emotions. So you just kind of have to stay focused and just know that I can do this. And I never thought I was smart enough to go to nursing school. I always felt like, oh, I'm not smart enough to get a bachelor's degree. I can't do that. I always felt that way. And I was like, you know what? I was like, if everybody else out there can do it, I'm like, I can do it too. And I did it. And I graduated at the top of my class. And so it's like, I keep telling myself, don't put yourself less than others. Don't compare. You are your own individual. So.
Amen.
Thank
And
you.
like that just goes back to the belief that we all think, well, I don't want to speak for everybody, but that a lot of us think, and what I've learned working with everyone, that we don't deserve whatever it is that we really want. And we do. We just believe someone else that told us that we weren't worth it. And even if they didn't say those words, they made you feel that way with their actions, whatever that was. But yeah, because Crystal, I mean, I remember when we first met and you telling me that you don't know how you're going to do it. And we both were kind of like, what do we want to do with our lives? And then a few years later, we connect again. And then you're telling me you're in nursing school. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew you would make it happen. I knew it.
Yay. I can't believe I made it happen. I went back to Harper. I took my gen eds. I had to retake microbiology and anatomy and physiology. And I'm 33, 32 years old. And I'm like, everybody else like 18. I'm like, that's okay. Age is only a number. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to get it done. And I did it. And it's been an amazing journey and a great process. And I've just significantly everything. It's like, I've just in the middle of a pandemic too. It was like,
Oh yeah.
The pandemic was like, I was going to school. I was in clinicals. Then I was pulled out of clinicals. Then I was doing online learning. And I'm like, whoa, I'm not an online learner. Like, I had to adjust to so much, but I go, but that's what nurses do. We adjust and we got to be quick on our feet. And it challenges you, but it's like, I truly believe this. And the dear Lord doesn't give you anything you can't handle. So I just feel like, being a part of groups like this and being around people that support you and love you and guide you, it goes so far. It goes so far to have a great circle. So, amen.
So happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share some goodness that's been changing or happening or making come to reality?
I think this whole process and being part of this group really helped me through a hard time I went through last week. Give you guys a little bit of background. My mom lives with my brother right now in Orlando, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. And I've been searching for, air quotes, the right floor plan so that my mom and I can cohabitate and remain in a happy place.
Yeah.
And I found what I thought was the perfect place for us to go. And my realtor helped me get in the door, and I, did all the steps. And 2 days before the option to cancel the contract, I found out that the property was under litigation with the builder because of poor roofing and stucco on the buildings. And I just left my HOA at the condo that I live in not even 6 months ago, from getting them through that litigation. And I had a really tough decision to make, to go live in a place and go through that whole process again, or to say that that's not something I want to go through again and roll the dice and try to find another perfect floor plan. I don't know about Chicago, but right now in my area, the housing is tight. Like as soon as something hits the market within less than 36 to 48 hours, it's pending. People are getting exactly what they're asking for. And money doesn't grow on trees. Everybody's got their limits. And I decided to walk away from that perfect floor plan, but instead of drowning my sorrows in eating bad things or letting it like suck me into a black vortex, I actually just decided that that was the right decision. It didn't matter what anybody else thought. It was the right decision for me. And I felt joy in that. And that was something that I'm not used to doing. I'm always second guessing my decisions. I'm always thinking or trying to plan for what's going to happen next so that there's not disappointment. And I went into this with a full heart, and leaving it was hard, but it was the best decision. And yes, it's going to take a little bit longer to find someplace like what was there, but I really think that the experience that I've had being on the board here at my condo gave me the knowledge and the insight to ask the right questions. So I knew what I was getting into and didn't walk into what could have been a potential, you know, $10,000 or $20,000 assessment down the line if they didn't win the litigation. So I'm grateful that I had the information that I learned through the process and knew better than to walk into the same scenario. But even though I'm sad I didn't get the house, I'm not regretting it. I'm not judging myself. I'm not saying, oh, you know, that was so stupid. You should have went for it. The floor plan was great. Because if it was truly meant to be, then me accidentally finding out about the litigation wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that Wednesday nights I get to come spend some time with some ladies. Most of you, I have no idea who you are, but I'm very thankful for being able to just be here and listen to your stories and be part of you during this time we're together.
Yay. Agreed.
I love your
love it.
I love your positive outlook on it, because it's like you, maybe all that knowledge that you have from where your condo, what you do at your condo now, you were able to put into your future house, and you're like, whoa, these are red flags, you know, and you were able to go in with your decision and say, I'm confidently not going to do this. And it's like, oh, I loved it though. I loved the place so much, but you're like, I know what's on the back end. You're like, I'm not dealing with what's on the back end of it, and the safety of it, to know it's with your mom. And you're like, you're thinking long term, and you're just like the stress that you could get from it and everything. And you're just like, now you're like, everything happens for a reason. And I love your positive outlook on it, how you're just like, I'm so glad that this was brought above. Like now a lot of people, I think, asking the proper questions, a lot of us don't know how to ask the right questions. Like even like, I'll give you an example, like my parents go to the doctor, they don't know what to ask the right questions. So you have the knowledge of real estate and housing associations, and you were able to dig in information that they may have never told you. And that's what's amazing, is that you were able to pinpoint something that is, oh, it would have been like a nightmare, you know? So
Nightmare.
I love your
Thank
positive
you.
for sharing your story, and be confident in your decision. And we stand behind you.
Well, this is new to me. This is really to feel that power to not second guess myself. It's like, I don't think I'd be where I am right now if I wouldn't have started this journey with Courtney a year ago. I really don't. So it's been a great way for her and I to develop a stronger sister relationship and to meet some awesome ladies. So very
No.
happy.
Another yay.
I didn't know till tonight that you two were sisters, and I can totally see it. You guys both have that positive aura and energy.
Oh,
Because this is only the second time I was on here, and the first time, Michelle, you talked quite a bit, and I'm like, she is so positive. I'm like, where does she get this from? And you two, you're a lot alike. I love it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Both Courtney and I have gone through some self-discovery journees separately and together.
Yes,
Yeah.
big time.
I'm sorry, I'm teared up.
Well, and Michelle, like, you didn't even talk about, like, and not that you have to, but you put aside a lot of emotions because it's not just a house. Like, this is a big step, and it's a place where a lot can be triggered, and you stayed so focused, and you didn't let the stress and the emotions of what is to come, because you're practicing so much on the boundaries that your boundaries, Kim, boundaries,
Boundaries.
um, that are allowing you to put your energy where it needs to go, to make decisions that are intentional and are deliberate and not blurred out by the emotions that have blurred you out before.
Yeah. Or just let them completely direct me. I've been blessed in so many ways. When my generation was growing up, everybody had like a plan. I'm going to get out of college. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have kid X, kid Y. These are the ages. One's going to be a boy. One's going to be a girl. Maybe I'll go back to grad school, blah, blah, blah. I hit 28 and everything I had planned out my entire life, no, didn't happen. Okay, what's plan B? But that wasn't because I didn't plan for it. It just wasn't meant to be. And you can't plan everything, but you can prepare for the good and the bad. And I've become a happier, positive person because of what I'm putting in my body and who I'm hanging around. I've cut a lot of people that I thought were my friends. I've let them go. I haven't like cut ties with them, but it's like I don't give them the time that I used to. So
That's forever. That speaks to all of us. I think and I don't want to talk for a lot of people, but I think that a lot of people just don't know how to like cut toxicity out of our life, and sometimes it overwhelms us. And Courtney mentioned boundaries. I didn't even know what a boundary was until like 3 years ago. Boundaries, I've never heard of that word. I don't even know how to apply them. Like we weren't taught that in school. We weren't taught, like there's so much we were not taught, that we were like, when you say planning out the life, Michelle, it really hits me because I go, oh, I'm gonna get married and I'm gonna have 3 kids, or I'm gonna find Prince Charming, blah blah blah. I had a baby at 22. I was the first one of my friends to be pregnant. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where it was going, but it's our story, and that's what I love, is that we're all unique in our own way, and this is our story, and we're proud. And like you said, I feel so blessed for where I'm at.
Yep.
This all ties in. I cut ties with one of my best friends about 3 weeks ago. Was it 3 weeks? Maybe longer, because it was just so toxic. It was affecting me, my husband, her and her husband. Like it was just, so it's funny because today is the 4-year anniversary of my first divorce, which is actually like a hell yes.
Oh yeah.
It's like a woo woo. I looked at the calendar today and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 years. But I got remarried this September, and not to get it too deep into it, but like 2 weeks after our wedding, my best friend, my maid of honor, and her husband got into a domestic, and we actually called the cops on them. And ever since that, obviously, not obviously, but a lot of people who are in domestics, my friend, she was mad at us ever since, and we tried to build a relationship with them, and it was just really toxic. So like the last 3 weeks, it's been like earth shattering getting rid of toxic people out of my life. So it's everything you guys are saying. It's crazy because I haven't been on many of these meetings, but it all comes full circle.
It really does.
Yeah.
And congratulations on making that decision. It's very hard, very hard.
We work together too. So luckily,
Oh,
for the past year, we've been working at home with the pandemic, but it was a
Mhm.
very hard decision. But like, I think my husband said the other day, he's like, you're so full of energy. You're so happy. I'm like, well, do you miss when I was depressed and crying? He's like, no, but a balance in between would be nice. That's his personality. So no, it's so much better when you cut out toxic food, toxic people, toxic everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And Kim, I don't know if you're familiar with like when you cut people out of your life, toxic people that we care for, like you genuinely care about her and you really want her happy. We have a tendency to grieve over these people that are still alive. And there's going to be times where you're going to say, I feel so good. And there's going to be times where you say, oh, I miss her so much. And I've grieved over friendships of girlfriends that I've had, my friends for 20 years that I didn't talk to anymore. And I'm like, you like miss them because you care about them so much. And we're here to help you. We're here to be here and support one another, because we should never do it alone, because it's like, it's crazy about when women, we all stay really quiet and we don't share our story. Like it's so hard for me to share my true story. But when we talk about our stories, it's like someone's like, oh my God, I can relate to you. Let's talk about it. It's like the more that you talk with other people, you're like, oh, I'm not alone. Like, I'm like, oh, like they're at the same boat. Like they can offer me, like, we're in this together. And that's what community is about. And that's what support is about. And we're always growing and always learning together.
I agree. I appreciate it. Yeah. Women community. Yes.
I'm all for it.
Males are invited in here, just FYI, and there is a male that is in here,
Is there?
and it is the love of
Tonight?
my life.
Oh,
Well,
Joe.
Joe. We don't ever see his face and he don't talk to us.
You'll be rewatching this, so let's all say hi to Joe. Hi, Joe.
And
Hi, Joe.
Joe's like one of us. Okay. Joe's
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Joe. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm eating right now, so that's why I'm on mute, and I just got home. So yeah, nobody needs to see that.
Courtney's amazing and we all love her. So you're a lucky man to have her.
I am. Yes, I am.
Oh,
Well, I guess Joe can't be the subject tonight then anymore.
well, like I can't remember where I heard this, but I feel like males, it's like kind of good that they're a fly on the wall in these types of conversations, because then they have a better sense of how our brains work a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It works very differently. It's wired very differently. There's books about it. But to all of you that were already talking about breaking up with your best friend, I remember very vividly when my mom, so I can't remember how old I was, but I walked into my mom's room and she was sleeping during the day, and I just sat on her bed, and she woke up and looked at me and she's like, hi honey. And I'm like, Mom. I started crying. She's like, what? I'm like, I think I have to break up with Margie. And she's like, oh honey, I know. Like she knew that it it just wasn't a happy relationship anymore. It felt like I was just giving so much and not getting anything back. And I mean, you all know I give you my all, but like there has to be a balance, because if I like, and many of you might know this, if I don't hear from you, then it's like, well, I'm just gonna put my energy in people that are giving back. And not to say that we shouldn't always be on top of our replies and stuff, but like we will ebb and flow. And this brings me back to when I was in therapy, and my therapist Donna, amazing woman that you've all heard me talk about, she said that like when we have needs that aren't met from childhood through our teen years and our adulthood, every person we interact with can help heal that wound or fill that void. And either they fill it in a positive or negative way. And sometimes it starts out positive and you go through your growth and that person goes through theirs, and you just end up having either a parallel relationship or a complete fork in the road. But I think, like Michelle said, it's like congratulate yourself, because it's such a hard choice to make. And
Yes.
sometimes you're in that teetering like phase, wondering like, should I do this or should I not? And I had a friend, one of best friendship just kind of fizzle out, and I still think about it. But I remember that every time we spent time together in the last couple of years, it felt like it was
Awkward.
a time suck almost, just kind of like, what did I get out of this? And who's to say they're not thinking that on the other end? But and I never made that adult decision to talk to her about it. So, but and neither did she. So who's to say? But I think that it's such a self-compassionate move to make, cutting out those relationships that are not supporting anything good in your life.
Yeah, I think like in the past, before I met Mark, and Courtney knows Mark a little bit, Joe knows Mark, they're kind of very similar personalities. But before I met him, I would let people walk all over me, or I'd be like, no, it's okay. And it's like, ever since I met him, it's like, you gotta, stand up for yourself, and you gotta, better yourself. Not that you can't be there for other people, you gotta be there still. But if there's a relationship that's bringing you down more than, like you said, Courtney, more than like leveling you out. One of the quotes that you put a few weeks ago, you put a few times, but it's like, out of all the people that you surround yourself or you hang out with, you might know the quote better than me.
It's phrased so many ways, but like you're the average of your 5 closest people, something along those lines. But I think you're the average of the community that you hang out with or you spend time with. Because I mean, more and more, I have a few close friends, but I spend a lot more time with all my clients, and like that just brings me so much fulfillment. So yes, I agree. I agree that there's so much truth to that.
Yeah. I'm big on energy. So if I'm hanging out with someone who has very like negative vibes or is constantly like saying negative things, I turn into that person. And that's what I noticed. So the last few weeks, it's like, I'm happy. I wake up grateful, like, oh, I have to go to work, but hey, I have a job during the pandemic. It's great to flip that mindset around.
Okay.
Kim, I just want to say my best girlfriend is in a domestic marriage, and it's been hard for me to be a support system for her. And I've confined in Courtney with this, and it's kind of like, it's even talking to her on the phone and trying to be positive and help her. And she finally just got divorce papers, and it's like she's going the right way. I almost told Courtney, I was like, I feel like I need to like detox after I talk to her. I go, because I feel like the energy I'm taking in, and I go, but I want to be that friend. I go, but I go at the same time, I have to be able to just give my advice, help, and be able to like go forward, So it's really hard in a time. There was a point of our friendship, and I know Courtney knows this, a point of our friendship where I was like, I don't know if I could be her friend no more. I don't know if I can do it. I was like, I just feel like, you know, if this is her choice, I'm always going to be here. She can call me when she's ready, but I just want to make sure she's safe and that she comes up with a plan, and that if you come out on the other end, I'm still going to be your friend. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I backed myself away. I didn't see her and her husband. I wouldn't hang out with them no more. And I had to set some boundaries with her, and I had to set some hard boundaries. And it was like, when I see you, this is how our time's going to go. This is how our conversations are going to go, because I can't focus on what's going on in your personal life. I can try to help you as much as I can. But, you know, a year later, the divorce is finally happening. But it just is so hard when you're like, it's like I wake up and I journal and I have affirmations. I'm eating healthy and I feel really good. And then all of a sudden you get this really negative vibe, you know what I mean? And it's so good that we can recognize the difference of it. And I think some people don't even realize the energy you're picking up around. We don't even realize it. But I think with our mental health is growing, and we're growing so much internally where we're like, ooh, I can pick that up. And we're picking up so much more, and we're able to get rid of it faster. So it's not easy. And I commend you for what you're doing, because it's effing hard.
It is. Thank you.
It's called self-awareness, and I didn't know it was a thing until my therapist talked to me about it, because most people don't have that. And that's what we talked about. That's like the subconscious living. You're just on autopilot. You just have you're like, yeah,
Mhm.
doing the motions, ignoring my emotions and doing the motions. That's the
Well, and it becomes the new normal. Like, this is normal until you're talking to someone else about it and they're like, that's not how it should be, you know? So I think that's awareness is a big key. I do a lot of self-talk. I talk out to myself and I'm like, is this normal? Is this healthy for me?
And
That's good.
I listened to this really cool podcast last week, and it the woman speaking, she's a physician, I think maybe a psychologist, but then and trained with traditional medicine, but then became aware of holistic medicine and the power of your brain. And in her research, this lady is just like mind-blowingly amazing. In her research, she was saying that the people that are anxious and depressed are often called sensitive, when actually these people are cued into what reality is, and we're troubled with what's okay and what is normal. And the rest of the people, and okay, so then these anxious and depressive people are put on anti-anxiety and antidepressants, because medicine is turning all of our actual systems off. Anti-inflammatories, antibiotics, like all of these like let's just anti-human people. And then all of these people that are calling us sensitive or calling us anxious or calling us crazy are the ones that are completely desensitized to all of this awful stuff that's happening in our world, and are supporting it and whatever, whatever direction it is. But that just really made me think, wow, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with me when I'm anxious. I'm just like hyper aware. I'm like a superhuman.
Courtney, thanks for saying that. Honestly, thanks for saying that, because lately I've been feeling more anxious. And I'm like, why do I feel so anxious? Like, why do I feel so antsy? I'm like, I can feel my heart pounding, and I can feel like, I'm like, I gotta take a few deep breaths. Like, I've never have had like a full on panic attack. And within the past year I had, and it's because we're so much aware of our surroundings. And I really never understood it that way. And when you put it in those words of all the medicine, and I have to know this for my exam tomorrow, all these meds of what they do to the body, and they inhibit the natural release of the dopamine and the reuptake of the serotonin, and they inhibit what's really going on in your brain, when really there are natural ways for us to be able to cope with these mechanisms. And this is as normal as we are. We shouldn't be frowned upon as abnormal. Because especially again, I'm sorry, Joe, I'm sorry, I'm saying women. We're very aware. I feel like we are a lot aware. And I feel like society makes us feel aware. We have to be aware. And men could go walk around in the city of Chicago and not have a problem. And they're like, it's dark outside. Women, we can't do that. We can't walk around alone in a street by ourselves. We have to be a little bit more of our surroundings. We have to pay, you've got to turn your head a little bit more. You got to look behind our back a little bit more because we're a lady and we don't have the strength of a man, So I just think that in general, we just have to become more aware. And the older we are, the more aware we become.
Right.
Big time.
Well, that was an enjoyable topic.
That was deep. Woo! That was all deep. I love you all.
So that all started with my question about the grounding technique. and that was week 1, and we're at the end of our meeting. Like, that was awesome. So share with me your thoughts on things that we could do more of, because I think this is awesome. We should do more of this if you're all thinking that would be cool.
Open mic
Night.
Open mic.
Yeah. Open Zoom cube. All right, cool.
Can we talk about more of like gut health stuff, more of like things where I'm struggling with, like some days I eat really great and then some days I don't, and then maybe we can talk about like accountability in this group of like, hey, I know we have our group text and stuff, but a way of saying like, you know what, Crystal, I had a bad day today too. And I kind of, I've been letting myself slip on like bad processed cupcakes that are just not good. And I'm just like, and I don't know if it's because I know my test is coming up and I'm like stressed and I'm like, oh, almost like I'm going to take that little Debbie cake and it's so not good for you. And I know it. And I just thought that maybe we could have an open forum, but ways of our gut health.
Absolutely. Brain gut connection. We'll talk more about that for sure next week. I mean, I could talk another hour on that, but we'll just save it. We'll save it. But yeah, of course. Yes, please. Let's talk about it. You know me. All right. Any other ideas or thoughts that anyone else has for future meetings?
Is Jay gonna come back?
Yes. So Jay, I think maybe some of you saw my note, but he'd really like to have someone volunteer, and maybe Crystal, it could be your choices in like slips in food and putting garbage in your body instead of, but don't forget, garbage treats that's our 20%. So if the rest of your day pretty clean?
I mean, I'd have to say, yeah. I mean, I had a protein shake. I think I would say that like my breakfast was very healthy. My lunch was healthy. And I'm not saying just today, but I'm saying in general, I've seen myself like the past week, like, oh, those little Debbie cakes have been so bad. But it's I guess balance. I guess it's like learning about the balance. And when you talk about the gut health, you know what I mean? And I know you talk about the 80-20 rule, and it's just kind of like, how do people, maybe some people can suggest how they balance it out, because
it sounds like you were in the 80-20 rule. So why are you shitting on yourself so much?
Because I haven't shit in 3 days.
You need more fiber.
I need more fiber, and I feel like I'm not holding myself accountable. Maybe I need more water. I think I need more water too. Okay.
Yeah, all those things for sure. Okay. Well, are you taking your magnesium?
Well, I'm quarantining away from my boyfriend. All my good vitamins and magnesiums are at my other home. So everyone knows I'm back at my parents for the next 2 weeks because my boyfriend's kids have COVID, and we decided. yeah, it's another stress level in my life. We decided that when he exposed his kids and they were positive for COVID, that I was like, well, I got to go back to my parents. I said, because I got my NCLEX next week. And I was like, I can't get sick. And I'm fully vaccinated. I mean, I feel so blessed to be vaccinated. And I'm like, but I got to worry about my parents. I got to worry about my son. I got to worry about this exam. I go, I cannot get sick. So my lifestyle has changed within the past week, but I have to be able to learn to adjust when you're at work, when you're at a different house, when you go on vacation, when maybe you don't work out for a few days. You have to be able to adjust your diet, even if you're not set you have to make those small changes and be able to do it. And I think that's what kind of where I figure out the balance of it, Courtney, is like, that's the hard part. And I'm back at mom and dad's and I'm just like, my parents don't cook. So I'm only cooking for me and my son, or it's like, well, let's just get something to go out, and it's convenience. And it's kind of like, I was like, no, I made sure I cooked dinner tonight because it's important to me.
Well, it really does sound like you had a treat. I mean, you didn't eat the whole box, right?
No, Enrique helped me.
Okay, so you ate half the box?
I had like 3 of them.
Okay. So yeah, and then what did you do like the next day?
No, but like, Courtney, come on, like, look at what's by my bed. This is so bad for you guys. Look.
It's garbage.
It's full. I'll tell you, I had 2 sips out of it and it made my heart pound.
Where's your fizz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need it. It's all at the other house. I gotta go get. It's just so.
Dang, yeah. Dang.
Yeah, you don't have your resources with you. That's why you're struggling.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes. And I'm stressed because I got the biggest test of my life tomorrow.
You're gonna do great. And you know what? You're just doing what you need to do until after that. It means tomorrow you're gonna rock it. And then after that, you're gonna have some celebratory champagne. And then you're gonna eat a salad, like chocked full of massive veggies. You know, salads I are not boring. They're fucking awesome. You just have to throw a shit ton of veggies in there. And then you're gonna be like, damn, this is awesome. I don't think you should be so hard on yourself. Jenny, peppermint is amazing for memory recall and taking tests. Peppermint. Do you have
Wait,
peppermint?
I have peppermint essential oil. Where
Yeah,
should I put it on my body?
Oil.
Just
Yeah, if you
rub it all over.
rub it on you while you study. It's actually proven to do a memory recall. So when you take your test, you actually bring the peppermints out or do candy, and it's awesome.
Awesome.
Oh, I wish I would have known this. Ooh, yeah, I got tons of doTERRA essential oils. I totally got peppermint. Yes.
Oh yeah, nice job, Jen.
Throwing one out there.
All right, cool. Well, there's a wonderful thing, and you're gonna kick ass. You're gonna kick ass. You've already passed it. It's just a matter of doing the motions now.
Oh my goodness, I'm totally celebrating all weekend. But thank you for everyone's support and thank you for being open to listening. I know I talked a lot tonight, so thank you so much.
Hey,
We're all excited to hear about next week, how it went.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll either be crying or happy, so you'll find out.
gonna be great. Okay, cool. How about
All right,
any
I'm setting
other?
up.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye,
thank you,
Krista.
Courtney. Okay, bye.
Bye. You're welcome. Bye. Any other thoughts on what we can cover in the following weeks? Otherwise,
I'll think about it and text you.
cool.
I'll think about it. I wanna, before we end, like, I've been struggling with not exercising for a long time. I'm just throwing it out there right now. I should be able to make it next week, but if I ain't for some reason, Courtney messaged me. I want to at least use my recumbent exercise bike. At least I'm just gonna do three days right now because it's been 0 for at least. I was gonna say it was. Mark just got home. He's like 6 months. I'm like, no, it has not been. He chimed in when you were talking about salads too. He's like, no, don't eat salad.
Oh God, yeah, of course.
He's the wrong person for this group, but I'm gonna challenge myself and put it out here. I wanna at least do 3 times, 30 minutes each time. by next Wednesday.
Okay, and
If
what,
I don't
where,
say it, it won't happen.
where
been-
in your day, where in your day do you see it happening?
Let's see here. Mark, get off the meeting. After work. After work or on the weekends, I know I'll do too. So, but at
Can
least
you put it
3
in your,
days from now.
can you put it in your
Yeah.
calendar?
Yeah, I'll do that for sure.
That's what a lot of us have been talking about, is scheduling it in the calendar, and it just like being intentional with the mindset, and then writing it, and then it being planned. And then if it doesn't work in that specific slot or whatever, then you could just move it intentionally.
Yeah, I'll do that. 'Cause I need to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
I've been telling myself each week, like, I'm gonna do it, even if it's one day and I don't do it. So if I say it here, that's what this group's for. So
Yes. And I honestly, I would not be as focused without my workout buddy. We keep each other definitely on track. So it's very helpful. So if you wanted to buddy up with anybody, you could always write something in our group chat, as far as like write or say like what workout you're doing and when you're going to do it. And then, there might be somebody who does something similar and could tag up and do it at the same time. I do mine in the morning, so I wouldn't be the best accountability buddy, but of course I can always check in with you too. But that's great that you're being intentional. Good job.
gotta start somewhere.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your stories and experiences, and this has been another wonderful meeting.
Night, everybody.
Good night. See you next week.
Bye.